Hi, Zach McCormick from The Current, welcoming Sophie Allison, soccer mommy, to The Current studios. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Your new album, Evergreen, is out now, and it's kind of appropriate that you decided to do a solo session for us today because you just recently released a new solo. I think you're calling it kind of a stripped-down version of that song, Driver. You played that version of it for us today, and you also did this kind of run of like intimate solo shows last year as well. Have you been finding something like more creatively energizing about performing solo? I know that's kind of how you got your start back in the day.
Yeah, it is how I got my start. And I think with this album in particular, writing the songs, they just felt really like full and exciting, even just in their most stripped back form. And I kind of wanted to, when I did the Lost shows, that previewed that, I wanted to kind of share it with people in that intimate way again.
Yeah.
Even though obviously the record has more production than that, but it is a little bit more like stripped compared to my last record.
So there's more like organic instrumentation, acoustic instruments on the record, that kind of stuff. And there's this kind of music biz cliche. I've heard it credited to Ruben. I'm not exactly sure who originated it, but the idea is that like a truly great song needs to be able to be performed solo, or it will sound just as good being performed solo as it would with more production, more instrumentation. Is that something that you subscribe to? Like a song is only as good as it sounds solo? Or, you're a great producer yourself, so I imagine there's some conflict there.
I mean, yeah, I love production. I love doing things on records. And I think it's different for everyone, because I think there's a lot of music that comes to life through doing a production. A lot of people write in that process rather than sitting down at an instrument. And that's great too. But I think for myself, if I couldn't play a song, just me and my guitar, I would feel like there was something missing from it. Because I do think that there's something to be said about this like core to the song that is the smallest version of it that still has power. If you have that, you can build off of that and create something, in any different direction with production that you want to go and have something that's great.
Is that how you mostly originate your songs? Writing just with the guitar by yourself, acoustic or
always.
electric? Always? Okay,
always,
cool.
Yeah, always. Pretty much, usually acoustic, just because it's easier to sit with an acoustic and write and sing than have to have an amp and all that. But I always write just guitar and me, and then kind of take everything once you get into the studio, because it leaves you so much opportunity if you have something special that you can just go in and kind of experiment and have fun and get crazy with things.
It's like a house needs to have good foundations in order to be sturdy, and it's kind of the same thing with the song, I would imagine. So when you're, building this house, your album Evergreen, I read that you were trying to focus on these sort of more organic, maybe acoustic or just like more instrumentation to try to put the lyrics and the messages of the song front and center. Were there ever points when you were developing the songs for the record that you were like, oh, you know what, that's one piece too many, let me dial that back? Or I started that with something that sounded more production oriented, and I actually want to switch it to something more instrumentation oriented. Were there ever moments like that while working on Evergreen?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a struggle because, again, I love doing all that kind of stuff, and I love experimenting in the studio. But also, I really wanted to make sure that we had a clear vision. Me and the producer, Ben, we wanted this specific vision and to find a lot of sounds and ideas that we could pull from that were different than what I usually pull from. Because it's so easy for me to get excited about a synth or a drum machine and start, messing around. And I will always love doing that. But I wanted to have a different kind of group of things to pull from. So it puts you in a new box where you have to kind of look to other places to do something exciting. You can still be exciting and experiment, but you can't just go to the usual things that you are used to pulling from.
Right, like maybe I would have previously done this with an electric guitar and a pedal, but now I'm doing it with a flute or something like that.
Yeah, or I mean, there's moments like Anchor on the record where there's all these weird sounds and it's like an acoustic guitar with like strange effect on it and like organ or violin or things that are different, but they still create really weird sounds. You can still do a lot with it. It's just you have to kind of pull from from different ideas.
And kind of retraining your brain to be open to those new ideas too, I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Working with your producer, a guy named Ben Allen, how did your choice of producer, how did you come to find and work with him? And then what did he bring to this record as far as like creative direction or ideas? What did he help you channel?
He was amazing to work with, honestly. The way that I kind of got connected with him, I was familiar with some stuff he had done, and talking about the record, we were just kind of throwing a lot of producer ideas out, and I did a lot of phone calls, and I just really liked the conversations that we had. It seemed like he understood what I was saying I wanted it to sound like, and he had his own set of ideas that he was getting inspired by that matched what I, wanted to do. So that was kind of how that came about, and then we did like pre-production together, and it was great and really exciting. He was very good at helping like keep it focused on this like central goal and tying everything together, and that was like really important to me.
That's awesome. You come from a studio town. You're from Nashville originally, but you didn't work on it in Nashville, right? Was it elsewhere? Atlanta. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Was that a little like is there a little music biz rivalry between Atlanta and Nashville at all?
I don't know.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't think so. I mean,
cool.
maybe with some people, but I don't think so. Yeah.
Zach McCormick from The Current, joined by Sophie Allison, Soccer Mommy. We're talking about her new album, Evergreen, out now. This album opens with this lovely song, and you played it today, called Lost, that really sounds like it's got these natural sounds on it. There's bird song, there's like these nature sounds, but then I read that you actually recorded almost all of these yourself utilizing this piece of technology. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I used a pedal. It's called the Microcosm from Hologram is the company. And I used it on my last record too to do similar things. But you can have a lot of fun with that pedal using a microphone and making sounds with your mouth. Like all the bird sounding stuff is me whistling or like blowing like it's wind and stuff. And so you can make some really cool soundscape type stuff in there, and that was really fun.
Just kind of layering layer after layer of it until it sounded like a kind of
loops and there's like pitch factors in it, and it kind of warps stuff and changes it a little bit, but you can make some really cool sounds.
There's this real kind of natural world element to some of the visual aesthetic of Evergreen and some of the songs, and you did this really cool thing when you put the album out where your team built this tool that allowed fans to preview the album if they were able to listen to it within a park, right?
Yeah.
And so how did that come together, and where was the kind of last natural location that you visited that you thought, wow, this is so beautiful, this is inspiring, or this was something that was really meaningful to you?
So, I mean, I can't take any credit for it. It's my marketing team. Every time they come up with a lot of really great ideas. Cool. And yeah, that was really cool because I think it feels like such a outdoorsy sounding record to me. The last place I visited, actually just on this tour, I took a little side quest, and I went to Wyoming and kind of drove through Sabine Canyon, and that was really beautiful.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, I've heard Wyoming is gorgeous. Never been.
It is. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Evergreen, a record that deals with some really heavy topics, but there's also some moments of sunshine too. The song Abigail, I've read, is inspired by a video game called Stardew Valley. What's the story there?
I'm a huge Stardew Valley fan, like massive. I don't play a lot of video games, but that is one that I do play a lot. And I was kind of having a bit of writer's block, I guess. I just was a little bit burnt out ideas-wise at a certain point in writing this record, and had this guitar part and kind of melody in my head a little bit that I was playing with, but I just didn't have any inspiration really for lyrics or anything like that. And I decided to make it kind of a writing exercise and use my wife from Stardew Valley. And there it is.
Her name is Abigail.
Yeah, her name's
I've read that she has purple hair.
She does, yeah.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Could we see Abigail returning as a character in future Soccer Mommy works, or is this a one
maybe.
and done?
I feel like it'd be hard to milk much more out of it.
That's a good point.
But I do love Stardew, and I will continue to be playing it. So
that's awesome. One more question for you here. I wanted to ask you about your opener. You're at this point that we're chatting with you, you're just about done with your tour for the U.S. for Evergreen, and one of the openers that you brought along with you is, I believe her name is Hannah Vu. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit about how you two got connected? I think she's maybe opened for you in the past before too.
Yeah, she opened an LA show like years and years and years ago, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is really awesome. And coming around for this tour, it was, something that kind of came through as a submission idea, and I thought it sounded really cool. And it's been really great having them on tour. They're all like really nice people. The music's really great. It sounds great every night. The merch is great. I have that as a Hannah Boo hoodie right there.
Oh, cool.
Sitting right there. It's very comfortable. But yeah, it's been really awesome. The music's great. It's kind of like shoegazy, like dreamy pop rock type thing, and I love it. It sounds awesome every single night. So
we'll check them out. Maybe they'll be headlining First Ave next time.
Maybe.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Sophie Allison, Soccer Mommy, thank you so much for coming in to tell us about your new album, Evergreen. I hope the rest of the tour goes well. Mm-hmm. Thanks so much for joining us at The Current.
Yeah, thank you.
The Current is public media made possible thanks to member support.